one person on this.
This is infuriating because TikTok is one of the most dangerous social media apps that we could have. And what you've got, I honestly, every time I hear you, I feel a little bit dumber for what you say because I can't believe here you've got a TikTok situation. What they're doing is these 150 million people are on TikTok. That means they can get your contacts, they can get your financial information, they can get your emails, they can get text messages, they can get all of these things.
This is very important for our party.
Exactly what they're doing.
This is very important for our party, and I'm going to say
you've gone and you've helped China make medicines in China, not America.
What is good, YouTube family? It's your boy Rashad with Black Anomaly Rising here. Man, that freaking second RNC debate was crazy. These fools was going ham on Vivek, man. It's like everybody hates this man. They hate Vivek. Like, they're like, he's a threat. We got to take him down. It was either they attacked Trump or Vivek, and they already, I guess, felt like Trump was just undefeatable. So they was like, at least we're going to take down Vivek, the rookie. We're going to take this man down. He's new to politics. He's just creating this big firestorm. Like, he's up in the poll. Well, he started going down recently, but, you know, he was the guy to beat, essentially. So at least to get that little micro victory, they just wanted to take Vivek out. Take a quick look at this.
When we have a conversation about the things that are happening on this stage, we think about the fact that Vivek just said we were all good people, and I appreciate that because last debate he said we were all bought and paid for. And I thought about that for a little while and said, you know, I can't imagine how you can say that knowing that you were just in business with the Chinese Communist Party and the same people that funded Hunter Biden millions of dollars was a partner of yours as well. It's not nonsense.
So look, here's what I want to respond. These are good people who are tainted by a broken system, and it's not the fault of anybody who's involved.
Some of us are tainted.
Excuse me. Thank you for speaking while I'm interrupting. While I'm speaking.
You said bought and paid for.
If I may finish.
You can't be on both sides.
Gentlemen, you'll have your turn.
One of the challenges we should have
focus on the issues that matter.
We know we did
business in China. Everybody knows that.
If I may address,
focus on holding Joe Biden accountable. That's what we need to be focusing on.
I actually agree with Ron DeSantis.
Speaking at the same time, no one can understand
exactly.
Your message.
So if I may, I agree with Ron DeSantis on China. When every other CEO expanded into the Chinese market, you know what I did with my first company? We opened a subsidiary in China. But you know what I did that was different than every other company? We got the hell out of there. And when I started my next company, Strive, right when that's years ago. Right when I started my next company, Strive, to compete against BlackRock. Excuse me. To compete against BlackRock, I made a commitment that we would never do business in China. And I will say something.
Yes. I think you have more than time to explain your point.
Well, if I was interrupted by a lot of people here, and I want to be respectful because I believe these are good people. But I do not believe in these. We're sitting here in the Reagan Library.
Yes, I wish you
in
did
the
not
honor of Ronald Reagan's library, if I may, from one admirer of Ronald Reagan to another. From one admirer of Reagan to another, we cannot see and violate Reagan's 11th commandment.
I want to hear about that.
Let's have a policy debate.
What's going on?
Let us have a policy debate.
Let's have about their record.
Let's have a policy debate. And the right answer is we need to declare independence from China, and I will see that through.
Well, first, let me say I'm glad Vivek pulled out of his business deal in 2018 in China. That must have been about the time you decided to start voting in presidential elections. So we're nice to have you participating in elections. So,
Mr. Ramaswamy, TikTok is banned on government-issued devices because of its ties to the Chinese government. Yet you joined TikTok after dinner with boxer and influencer Jake Paul. Should the commander-in-chief be so easily persuaded by an influencer?
So the answer is I have a radical idea for the Republican Party. We need to win elections. And part of how we win elections is reaching the next generation of young Americans where they are. So when I get into office, I've been very clear. Kids under the age of 16 should not be using addictive social media. We're only going to ever get to declaring independence from China, which I favor, if we actually win. So while the Democrats are running rampant, reaching the next generation 3-1, there's exactly one person in the Republican Party which talks a big game about reaching young people, and that's me. And let me level with all of you. I'm the new guy here, and so I know I have to earn your trust. What do you see? You see a young man who's in a bit of a hurry, maybe a little ambitious, bit of a know-it-all, it seems at times. I'm here to tell you, no, I don't know it all. I will listen. I will have the best people, the best and brightest in this country, whatever age they are, advising me. We will be probably many of the people on this stage included. That's how I built my companies. I want to be challenged. I want people who disagree with me. That's what makes America great, because we're not a perfect nation. We're founded on the pursuit of perfection. That is what makes America great. And that is why we will end it once we win this election.
I have to jump. I have to jump in here. I'm sorry.
Ramaswamy was speaking.
There's one person on this.
This is infuriating because TikTok is one of the most dangerous social media apps that we could have. And what you've got, I honestly, every time I hear you, I feel a little bit dumber for what you say, because I can't believe that here you've got a TikTok situation. What they're doing is these 150 million people are on TikTok. That means they can get your contacts, they can get your financial information, they can get your emails, they can get text messages, they can get all of these things.
This is very important for our party.
Exactly what they're doing.
This is very important for our party, and I'm going to say
you've gone and you've helped China make medicines in China, not America. You're now wanting kids to go and get on the social media that's dangerous for all of us. You went and you were in business with the Chinese that gave Hunter Biden $5 million. We can't trust you. We can't trust you. We can't have TikTok in our kids' lives.
This is very important.
Mr. Ramaswamy, you have 15 seconds.
I think, excuse me.
You have 15 seconds, Mr. Ramaswamy.
Thank you. I think we would be better served as a Republican Party if we're not sitting here hurling personal insults and actually have a legitimate debate about policy following Reagan's 11th Commandment in his honor. And the answer is that is what actually makes our country strong. And I believe in these people. These are good people on the stage. They disagree, but let's have a legitimate disagreement. That's what I would say. People, we have to level with the American people on this issue. The reality is just because Putin's an evil dictator does not mean that Ukraine is good. This is a country that has banned 11 opposition parties.
A win for Russia is a win for China.
We're driving Russia.
A win for Russia is a win for China.
Excuse me, if you have a chance.
I forgot you like China. That's why
you'll have your chance in just a moment. The hurling personal insults isn't helping. China is the real enemy, and we're driving Russia further into China's arms. We need a reasonable peace plan to end this, especially this is a country whose president just last week was hailing a Nazi in his own ranks.
Ukraine, that's a green light to China to take Taiwan.
We need a
peace comes through strength.
Questions, honestly. I have respect for every man and woman on this stage because they've done it. Vivek, put your hand down for a second, would you? I still got time, dude. So chill out.
So they're attacking him on things that he said in the past, like in the last debate about how they was all bought and paid for, which is true, by the way. If you actually do some research on it, then he is accurate. They are bought and paid for with like the type of donors that they have and some of the stuff in terms of Ukraine, like literally weapons manufacturing is things that a lot of these folks have invested in, which would effectively mean that they have a personal stake in continuing the war in Ukraine. So, like, he's right about that, even though they acting all salty about it. And they're talking about all of this stuff with China, where it's like some of them have companies in China and stuff. And it's like, wait a minute. Like, how you going to attack him on something that you're doing? And then he actually got out of China, like, and they're like, oh, yeah, right before he was running for president. And I'm like, yeah, and he still did it. He still left China. Like, you can't say he didn't do it. You see what I'm saying? It's like, oh, well, TikTok is too much. So let's go ahead and let the Democrats win another election. So all of the stuff that we want to pass, and all the legislation and all the foreign policy and immigration, all of that stuff just gonna be out of control just because we're standing our moral high ground. We don't want to use TikTok because it's evil. You got to do whatever it takes to win. Obviously, morally and ethically, and I don't see it as like immoral and unethical to use TikTok. Yes, I understand some people might be influenced, more people might be influenced to join the platform, but I think that that's a small price to pay when it comes to winning a freaking election, and you could literally ban TikTok entirely afterward as long as you win the damn election. So what the hell is freaking Nikki Hailey talking about? Nikki Hailey just be talking. I'm kind of surprised a lot of people feel like, I guess it's one of those things where you know how people say whoever's loudest in the room is like winner of debates a lot of the time. I mean, that's not how it works for me, but apparently people were saying in the last debate they felt like Nikki Haley did good, and maybe they'll feel the same way about this one. I don't feel like she necessarily did bad, but all she did was just attack. I don't really know nothing about what the hell Nikki Haley even supports, because she just keep attacking everybody. She attacked Ron DeSantis, Trump, Tim Scott. Like, I think that's all she attacked, but she went ham on all of them. But especially Vivek. She's talking about this man. She gets stupider every time you speak. I'm like, look, I hate to break it to you, Nikki, but I mean, I can guarantee you that Vivek is more intelligent than you in like pretty much every perceivable way, just based off of any of the conversations that I've seen and exchanges between the two of y'all. Like, she keeps talking about like a win for Russia is a win for China. That's all she keeps saying. I'm like, look, we can't be the world police and just stop Russia from accumulating any power. Like, imagine, okay, think about this for a second, y'all. Imagine a scenario where some other country, what if it was Russia or, hell, I don't know, some European country was like, well, America's accumulating so much power, so we're going to disrupt whatever America is doing because we don't want you accumulating too much power. Like, imagine how that would sound. Like, hey, we're gonna enter like a Cold War with America to make sure America doesn't accumulate too much power, because you accumulate too much military might. We don't like that. You accumulate too much economic power. We don't like that. Like, that sounds crazy as hell. I get that Russia is not exactly an ally, but they're not exactly an enemy either. For those who don't know that, like, I mean, we trade with all of these countries. Like, China and Russia, they're some of our biggest trading partners. So when they act as though they're like, we're practically at war with them, that's really not true. Like, yes, we're amicable in terms of trade, and we need to be. And I know that there's cyber attacks and nation state issues, and that goes into this whole complicated thing. But at the end of the day, we need each other. Right? That's why we don't have big nuclear wars or everybody just blowing the crap out of each other's nation, because we need each other to thrive at the end of the day, and all of the world leaders inevitably know that. So all of the stuff that they're talking about is a bunch of smoke, and is really, warmongering is not going to continue to get us anywhere except wasting a bunch of money and pissing people off, because Russia's probably going to win the damn war anyway. It probably don't matter how much money we funnel to them, because eventually the money's got to run out one way or another, and I just don't see Russia running out of steam with this. If anything, they'll just get desperate and take even more drastic measures where we'll have to quit or else jump into the war directly, which I definitely don't want us to do. So anyway, y'all, like, yeah, I mean, all of these it's a lot of different conversations that this could kind of springboard and branch off into, and I don't want to get too deep into all of these other things, but I just thought it was hilarious that they just like act like they hate this man Vivek. It's actually kind of hilarious. I actually felt like he did a decent job holding his own. Not as good as he did in a previous debate, so his performance wasn't as good here. I definitely can't say that he won the debate. I'm not even sure who won the debate. I'll probably make another video about that with some analysis on it. But let me know what y'all think. I appreciate y'all watching. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate y'all watching Black Anomaly Rising channel. We out.